Frequency modulation synthesis involves one oscillator being used to modulate another oscillator. And in FM synthesis, you might hear oscillators being referred to as operators. And for ease of use, I'm going to stick to the name oscillator. And this is where the FM matrix comes in. I have set up only one oscillator in this particular patch. And for this oscillator, I have chosen one of the sine waveforms. If I was to play a key just now, I'd get the sound of the sine wave on its own. If now I also change the value by click dragging in the box that corresponds to the first row and the first column, this would result in oscillator's 1 sound modulating itself. You can hear how the sound responds as I increase the modulation. I can load another waveform into oscillator 2. If I now change this value, you can hear the sound of oscillator 1 being modulated by oscillator 2. Again, producing a completely different sound. You cannot hear the sound of oscillator 2 yet, as we are only working with the sound of oscillator 1. If I go down a row, then I can go the other way around. Firstly, I can set the value of the volume of oscillator 2 as usually done in this section. It is then possible to use the sound of oscillator 1 to modulate oscillator 2 by changing this value here. This gives you a completely different sound than being done the other way around. If you look at it this way, with 2 oscillators, you have 6 different sounds available to you. Oscillators 1 and 2 on their own, oscillator 1 being modulated by itself or by oscillator number 2, and oscillator 2 being modulated by itself or by oscillator 1. Remember though, you have 6 oscillators to play with. You can only imagine the possibilities that are capable with this simple use regarding the matrix style interface. As you can see with this implementation of FM synthesis, Toxic is actually quite easy to understand and control. However, as a result, the sounds you can create are much more complex than those you get from subtractive synthesis on its own. Each of the 6 outputs can have their volume filter automated by either of the 2 low-frequency oscillators that you can find on either side underneath the other oscillators. The amount of the effect is specified by the values you select here. The low-frequency oscillators themselves can be set by either frequency or can be synced to your host application's tempo. To finish off this section, you have some master pitch modulation controls. The pitch could be modulated by LFO too, or either by the envelope found here or even a pitch bend wheel. The exact amount is set by these values here. The pitch bend setting only covers from 0 to 12 and allows you to set up the amount of pitch bend applied when using a pitch bend wheel on your controller. And this is measured in semitones. Typically, this setting is set to 12. This chapter has shown you how to put together sounds so you can begin to use and understand FM synthesis and how it is applied by using Toxic's FM matrix. And in the next chapter, we'll go on to show you that this central section has more than one use, and we'll cover the use of Toxic's analog style filter.